You don't want it? No. I didn't even say. What? I'm usually too long.
Guaranteed. Especially the one night they started out the pledge and they moved the flag outside of it's wrong. It was just about 6 o'clock, so we'll start off the meeting over Tostana.
Yeah, should have.
So I forgot something.
Yeah. So she's doing stuff for you. So it's all your fault? Wrong song. Here it coming.
You're here, just start running.
Yeah.
Sorry. I had no idea. Thank you. Thank you, Henry.
It's okay. Okay, we'll start off the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, fire exits are marked, and if you have cell phones with you, we ask that you have them turned off so we don't get interrupted in the middle of things. And can we have a roll call?
Henry Hale.
Yes, I'm here.
Fossil LaForest.
Here.
Roger Black.
Here.
Marion Alexander. Melanie Marr.
Here.
Alan Reese.
Here.
Brett Baker.
Here.
Matthew Favreau.
Here.
And can we have a motion that the meeting was advertised as required?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Roll call vote on that?
Henry Hale.
Yes.
Fossil LaForest.
Yes.
Roger Black.
Yes.
Marion Alexander.
Yes.
Melanie Marr.
Yes.
And can we have a motion to approve last month's meeting minutes and waive the reading of those minutes?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Roll call vote on that?
Henry Hale.
Yes.
Fossil LaForest.
Abstain.
Roger Black.
Yes.
Marion Alexander.
Yes.
Melanie Marr.
Yes.
And I believe we have some old business to get to, Alan.
Mr. Chairman, we got 2 items for old business. The first one was a request for a rehearing. It was area variance from field number 1416 dated back in August 1999. Sorry, my pre-brief, I thought I said 91, but 99. Brian Lanovich was the owner, 6054 Route 22 Industrial District. Placed a canopy over fueling pumps, so they're asking for a rehearing for next month. They are in attendance in case you have any questions. I think they might want to make a little statement.
If I could, good evening, everyone. Tom Renee, I'm here on behalf of Mr. Yalovich, who is seated right here. Basically, Mr. Yalovich has owned this property for quite some time. Back in 1999, as Alan points out, he received a area variance from the town. I've got a copy of that here. You guys want to take a look at it. So what it was a 20-foot area variance, or allowing the canopy to be located 20 foot from the property line. Route 22 is a state road, so it's approximately 66 feet wide, so 33 feet from center. Subsequent to that, Mr. Yalovich had went to get a mortgage from a local bank, and he actually asked for a letter from the town, from Don Lee, who was a code enforcement officer in town. This was in 2001, which indicates that at least in 2001, according to Mr. Lee, there were no issues with setbacks, there were no issues with construction, there was no issues. The property, there's no outstanding violations at the property. Mr. Yalovich is in the process of doing a subdivision at the property. And apparently the subdivision map indicated that the canopy may be located closer to the front lot line than 20 feet. I tried to, I know Trevor Cole from the town planning office is involved in that. I spoke to Trevor earlier today. I've been somewhat unable to determine how much closer than 20 feet. I've looked at the survey map. It doesn't show like a building envelope to show, okay, it encroaches how many feet, or it doesn't even really mention on the survey that this variance was obtained back in 1999. So in trying to scale it, it's hard to tell, quite honestly. We may need to get more information on that. But the bottom line is Mr. Yanolovich, when he applied to put the gas pumps and the canopy in, came to the town. I don't have a copy of the complete file. All I have is that decisional document, which indicates that where he wanted to put it, and the variance was granted. The subsequent letter from Don Lee in 2001, this was after the canopy was constructed, indicated that there were no violations present. So I'm going to assume at least that the canopy was in compliance with the area variance as granted by the town at that time. I was not involved in either one of those matters, whether the application or the letter from Mr. Lee, so I can't speak to that. Essentially, this whole issue is being triggered because of the subdivision that Mr. Yamalavich now wants to do. The canopy has been there for 23 years. This is the only time it's ever come to light that there's a potential issue with the canopy. It does appear that Route 22 has had some contour changes probably since that time. I think predominantly maybe when the new jail went in and some of that expansion in that area happened, there may have been some contour changes. We're attempting to get some research done to see if there were some additional appropriations done for the road that maybe made it a little wider, which would have then, again, made Mr. Yanolovitch's property line different. I don't have that information right now. But suffice to say that the canopy is where it is. We're not planning on changing that or putting it anywhere else. We're not looking to expand it. It got approved by the town. We have the approval letter. Nothing is different.
Right.
And again, no reason it's coming here now, not because we're expanding the store or doing anything else. It's just because of the subdivision that just became an issue. So we're not, again, looking to change anything. We're not looking to put something new. It's an issue that we just need to move forward on because of the subdivision.
So I don't think we would have any problem granting a rehearing if it turns out to be necessary.
Right, and I may be able to provide additional information that may not require it. And again, I guess the question becomes, like I say, if the contour of the roads changed because of appropriations or whatever, so now it's 18 feet or 17 feet or 50, whatever it is, that's not something we created or caused, obviously.
And I don't think that anybody here is actually saying that
No,
something was done wrong by you guys. It could be something that was by the county or
yeah,
a 100-foot or a 66-foot wide area, whatever the case may be. It's just what we have to deal with.
Yeah, and again, the letter from Mr. Lee at least seems to indicate 2001 when the canopy was there everything was fine.
Good, yeah.
I mean, obviously, if we were not compliant at that point, that would have triggered something at that point, and we would have had to come to see you then. And
There's no way to know whether it was built in the wrong place. I mean, other than Lee saying that it was okay, but I mean, if he was given a certain variance and then he put it up, but he never had a surveyor come in and say, well, is it on the 20-foot or is it 3 foot? I mean, is there anything that we would have to show
well, he would have
that
to
he
get
was in compliance at the time of the variance that was granted?
well, you would have to get a building permit back then, I'm guessing, for the canopy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming and again, I don't have the file also
Right.
from 1999 to see what was submitted at that point to get the variance. There may have been a survey at that point saying, hey, this is where I want to put it. I'm guessing there was, but I don't have that. And again, Mr. Lee would have had to gone back out to make sure it was in compliance with whether there's a certificate of occupancy or whatever had to be issued for the pumps. They were done by a company called Alfers Mechanicals, which some of you might remember that name back in the day. This guy named Bob Alfers basically did canopies and pump stations for gas stations in the North Country for a long time, and then he moved out of the area, but he did that for a long period of time. So it was still by somebody who knew what they were doing and had worked with the town and worked in other municipalities. Oh, you know what he was talking about, knew what he was doing. I mean, Mr. Yalovich didn't put it in himself,
Right.
so.
Right, so it'd just be a matter of somebody making a motion to grant the rehearing.
Right, I guess the next question I had for Alan is I didn't know really, we asked for the rehearing, and if I can provide additional information, and maybe not require it, I don't know. Well, we can talk more about it, but I didn't know what actually, and I'm willing to provide whatever additional information we need to provide, but do I need to submit a new application? What do I need to do on behalf of my client to, I mean, I provided what information I have right now.
Right.
And I have a copy of the survey map that exists now.
I think it'd be at the
I would
zoning department, what you
look at
guys
those
are.
two gentlemen right
approving.
over there saying,
I mean, it may come down to, I mean, and just so you know, just for the record, I mean, I talked to Mr. Fagro today about this a little bit as well. We talked about also maybe just filing for an interpretation type of question or something like that too, which may be what I end up doing. Now, that does require an application, which I can certainly do. I just want to make sure we're on next month's agenda because Mr. Yalovich does want to move forward with his subdivision.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, when I talked to Mr. Renee earlier, I said, no matter what, we're gonna need something. So an application and whatever supporting documentation, whichever way it goes.
Yeah,
You know, and then you guys can either, at the meeting would be, you know, actually with the supporting documentation, we don't think that you need another variance. The existing variance is still good. Or, okay, yep, we're gonna alter the variance, we're gonna change it, and now we're gonna put it to whatever it is, 5 feet, 10 feet, whatever it is, and change it. I don't know, but
Well, it's kind of difficult, I guess, on my part, sitting on this board, if there's no documentation, which I think you said, there is nothing there for us to read on the original variance to know what was what or what was approved or anything as such.
But there's, I'm sure there's a file.
I don't know.
I found I
Do we
had
have the
a file,
original?
which was just the
What I
date.
provided was a copy of the original approval document,
That's the
so there had to be,
original board
Find the
meeting.
actual-
yeah, that was done, that was a decisional document, like,
That was
99.
what Don Lee
And
said.
there's John Lee's letter in 2001.
And really, it's not a question for tonight. The only question for tonight is to say, we would grant you a rehearing.
So, but I just wanted to give everybody some background of this, so,
We
just so you know,
appreciate
I
that.
mean, it seems like you were in compliance. Now, for some reason, maybe, and again, I don't know that for sure, but maybe we're not, and we just want to move forward.
Yeah.
We're not changing anything.
All right, so somebody want
I'll make a motion to grant the rehearing.
and a second? Second. Okay, show of hands on that, and roll call vote.
Henry Hale.
Yes.
Roger Black.
Yes.
Basil Ford.
Yes.
Marion Alexander.
Yes.
Melanie Mark.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. I
You guys talk
provided,
with Matt.
you guys can keep those
The copies?
copies. Yeah, that's
Talk
it.
with Matt and Alan and Steve, and we'll figure it out from there.
Okay, all righty, thank
Thank
you.
you, John.
Have you guys done a middle search, I guess, for easements to show if there was a expanded part of the highway that would have had to have gone through an easement
They're in the process
request?
of getting that done right now, so we'll know if there's additional appropriations that were done. Yes, we are doing that, as part of the subdivision process. Yeah, we're on that.
Perfect.
And AEDA.
all right, so our second one is request for an extension, area variance appeal number 2263, dated November 13th last year. Randall Swisher, owner of 79 Lighthouse Road, R4 district. He's requesting to extend his previously granted variance. It's been a year, so he hasn't actually started work, haven't pulled a building permit yet, so they're going through the entire process again. They'd like to extend it.
So, Jim Abdallah with AEDA here on behalf of Mr. Wisher. We're looking for an extension. We did, Mr. Wisher did submit a building permit application and plans, which he had intended was going to meet the deadline. In this case, though, he wasn't aware that the department will also be looking for an elevation certification. So that took a little bit of time. I actually submitted that application today. And we recognize we need the extension in addition to allow for that process.
So you would not plan on starting any construction this season at all then?
I can't say that. If he has a sufficient building permit in hand, maybe there will be some things that he.
So we haven't received any drawings or anything yet for it. Normally get the elevation certificate, the floodplain, certificate first. And then we're able to actually issue a permit after that. So we can't issue anything, but we haven't got a set of plans yet. We do have plans now? Okay.
He had requested a foundation.
Oh, foundation only.
Because he knew he wasn't gonna.
And we were still waiting on the
Yeah,
floodplain map. Okay.
that was what was holding that up.
I was really looking for what length of time of the extension you would be looking for. Was it a full year or just 6 months or?
I would ask probably for the year just to make it safe, you know what I mean? If he starts in the spring and he starts late spring, well, I mean, granted me 6 months and now I might be in a problem again, so.
But, public hearing portion of the meeting, we'll open it up. Anybody here like to speak to this matter? And not seeing anybody, I'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting. And so basically with the onset of winter coming around the corner, he's looking for a full year extension on this to get finished plans and other permits in place. Anybody have any questions on that? Anybody like to make a motion to approve a 1 year extension on his?
Yeah, I'll make a
variance?
motion to grant the extension for 1 year.
Okay. Second, show of hands on that. And we'll call vote.
Henry Hale,
Yes.
Fossil LaFors,
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Mary Ann Alexander.
Yes.
Melanie Moore.
Yes.
Good night.
Thank you, you too.
And 2302.
New business. Fritzy Miller, you're up. This is an area variance request to be allowed to construct a 16 by 16 rear addition to the home,
How about pictures? Just so you guys can see.
which does not meet the minimum 15-foot rear yard setback in an R5 residential district, encroaching 8 feet into the rear yard setback, leaving 7 feet to the property line. So this is over on the corner of Wallace Hill and Valley. So this is Wallace Hill, 22 is over here on the end. As you come around, this is Valley, this road right here, and she has this corner lot right here.
I like to start by saying it was not my plan to ever do daycare out of my own house. I've been doing it for 8 years, but an unexpected death in the family left me 2 years ago to start out on my own house. It's only 2 bedrooms. I'm certified
Ma'am?
for.
Before you get started,
Sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and go through the slides.
Oh, sorry. Nervous.
As you can see, it's all zoned R5, so her lot's right up here, or, yep, right there. So here's the house, this is the Wallace Hill. Of course, these lines are way off, her property line does not go through the middle of her house. Okay, so it comes down in between here and this driveway, and back along this tree row somewhere. So here's what it looks like today. This is the side of the house. So I'm standing on Wallace Hill Road, shooting back this way. You can see there's a deck right here. And then this is what she's showing you the trailer here. Now, ma'am, you might want to go through when you're explaining to them what you want to do, because it's been brought up that you have a line right here, which looks like it's at the end of the trailer, which is clearly not your property line. Your property line's got to be over here somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're showing 33 feet. Is that from the end of the trailer or from your property line?
So the line on the side, that's where my fence is. That's what I was showing. And that's just my, I believe that's just my fence.
Oh, okay, so you're measuring from your fence around your house?
Yes.
Okay, so that's clear. Okay, now you can tell them whatever you like.
I'm so sorry. So my house is only 2 bedrooms, and I'm certified for 8 kids. I'm full. I have all 8 kids. I'd like to keep doing what I'm doing. I tried to do, when my application got denied, I tried to get pre-approved for a mortgage instead, just to move all together, but financially I'm not there yet, so that got denied. I showed pictures of the other way, so I can't, instead of building out farther, instead of, I can't build long wise, because I run into, one, the sandbox that's already there, and I also have a door and a window that's already there. So yeah, my house is 2 bedrooms, and my son is 6, and he is currently sharing a bedroom with me, because the other room is the daycare space,
Okay.
and he really likes his own room.
I'm gonna open up the public hearing portion of the meeting. Anybody here like to speak to this matter? And not seeing anybody, we can close the public hearing portion of the meeting and go on to the board members if they have any questions and further clarification that they would like to have.
So when I asked you about your dimensions, so see the 7 foot going from your addition, that's measured 7 foot to your back fence?
Yes.
And do you know how far is your fence right on your property line? Is there?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
That was like more than 7 feet.
I didn't write the sketch, my dad did. So the deck, all I wanna do is, take off my back deck and make that an enclosed room. And, it's an extra 3 feet. From what's already there, it's an extra 3 feet towards my fence.
We need to know whether there is even a need for a request for a variance, if we don't know where the property lines are.
So where the fence is doesn't matter. If you, from the back of your addition to the back of the property line, if you have 10 feet, you don't need to be here. Fence doesn't come into play. As fun as it is to be here, I don't want to.
And we don't know really what the full dimensions of your lot are, because we have conflicting dimensions from the county. Based on your application, it's different than what's in the county, or the county has 2 different numbers as well.
Gotcha, I should have brought my deed. We went off the deed to my house. It had like the corner lot numbers on it.
So
Well, and that would, I mean,
what would be the setback off of the road in the front, the Valley Drive?
30 feet.
30 feet, 14 feet of home. And if it's 90 feet deep, she doesn't need anything.
That's if the front of her trailer is sitting at 30 feet.
Right.
If her trailer is back further, then you have a little bit more
we
front
don't
yard.
have a
that's back.
picture. I mean, I saw the picture of the car, but it doesn't give us a little further view of the road to get an idea.
The one thing I could do, let's see if it works.
Yeah.
Didn't that say pictometry?
Yeah. So it goes in your browser.
That's what I have mine. I don't have my password with me.
You wanna use mine? Use mine.
It's your email, right?
Yep.
Donna PM?
Yep.
Give out password.
Now, throughout the county.
What's the last? 6. Let's see if this works.
Thank you, boss.
Okay. Let's see where I am.
Getting there.
I mean, even if you look for that water pit is, if you zoom out just a bit, you can see the water pit.
Okay. So if I measure from the center of the road to the front of the house, 56.
56.8.
It's 14 and
It's gotta be 25 and 30 would be, so that's about right. So she's sitting right at the 30-foot front yard setback.
So she doesn't need to be here.
So, and now the house.
It's 14.
is About 14, yeah. So, what did we say the depth of her lot was, 100 feet?
90
We don't know.
feet, it's the smallest one.
Okay, so that's 44 feet, so even if it's 100 feet, then she's still got 56 feet back. She's gotta have
46.
gotta have at least 15 feet for her rear yard setback.
And she's only putting on 16 feet off of that.
She's got plenty of room, she don't need a variance. So I think what the problem is, when you turn this in and you had 7 feet showing there,
That was.
that triggered that you need a variance. But clearly, doing the dimensions off this right here, you don't need one, you just need a permit.
With I did apply for it, so I have to apply for it again?
No,
I so I didn't.
now we're gonna just process your permit. You don't have to have a vote here tonight. You don't need a variance.
Cool. Sorry for wasting your time.
We have one right now.
Thank you, you too.
Your son gets his own bedroom.
Oh, he's gonna be so happy.
All right, and
I didn't do none of these, I wasn't here.
Okay.
Okay.
It was the real intern.
2303.
What'd you say? All right. Let's see what else I can help the board tonight. All right, Ms. Smith, you're up.
Can you help me in the same way, please?
All right, so this one here is at 344 Baffert Road. There's a pre-existing non-conforming structure. Request to be allowed to add an additional accessory structure by installing a 10 by 16, which is 160 square foot, prefab shed in the side yard, which would exceed the 100-foot footprint, 920 square feet of the total building area, the principal building, by 785 square feet, which is now allowed in the R5 business district. So some background is, she got a variance back when the ordinance would only allow 50% of your house. At that time, it exceeded the house. Now the ordinance changed to 100%, which is currently still exceeds. Now she wants to add something else, so it's going to exceed even more. So, show you where it's at. So this is Military Turnpike right here. That's the church. Hang a left, come down 2 parcels. This is her house right here. This is the garage she got the variance for the first time. Her house is here. I think there's a little shed over here in the back, and she's looking to put this shed in front of the garage along this property line coming down the driveway. So here it's all R2. Here you go. You can see the house is here. You can see a little bit of the shed over here. This is the garage. She's looking to put it here in the front. So as you look down the driveway, there's a little clearing right over here on the other side. This is where she's looking at putting it, I believe.
Yep, and in that picture, if you don't mind,
Yep.
you can see, because when I asked first, obviously, you guys didn't know about my variance, I forgot about it, and it seemed to be like an easy thing to do. So I was just coming here to get the permit that I needed. But if you can see behind the garbage can, we had, I already talked about it, so we had spent $300 to put a retaining wall there. And we spent over $200 to put ones and dust where the building was gonna go. And when I came in to get the permit, when I knew I needed it, because it didn't sound like it was gonna be a problem, so we started doing that. And then when I came to get the permit and found out that I needed a variance, that was already in the works. Plus, I'd already put a $1,000 deposit on the building. And I had to go talk to the Amish and ask them to stop building it. Because obviously I needed a permit, so I stopped them from building it. But where you see the thing behind the garbage can is where we were gonna place it. And that was gonna be my gardening shed, because obviously as years go on, we got a tractor with a bucket and a backhoe. He has his TV, a pool table in the garage. He stores his wood pellets. We have a snow blower, 4-wheeler, mow, all kinds of stuff. And there's no room for my gardening stuff, so it was just primarily gonna be my gardening shed.
And we're, what, 785 square feet over what it should be?
I think that included the 160.
Yeah.
Hmm?
That includes the 160. If I read or did my math right. Public hearing portion of the meeting I will open up now. Anybody here like to speak to this matter? Not seeing anybody raise a hand. Close the public hearing portion of the meeting. I believe it went down to the county.
It did. So I went to the county planning board by a vote of 7-0 in favor of the action with attached comments. The comments are: town is encouraged to ask the applicant for a more detailed drawing of the proposed accessory structure, as the drawing provided does not appear to reflect the structures already on the property, what property setbacks. So we're talking about, Yes. yeah,
Well, I did that quickly because I thought I only needed a permit and then I had to apply for the variance, so.
Now, can you go back to one of those pictures, because doesn't she have a deck on that house? You see something on the end there?
No, I have a front porch, I have no deck. Well, I have a front porch, but it's way over here.
Yeah, how
And-
big is that?
My front porch?
Yeah.
Not very big.
Oh, right. Well, decks are considered square footage, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that,
Yeah, that-
what is there has been there since 1997. There's nothing new there. And it'd be way over here where you can't see it, because the door is way over on this side. And what you see there are just what was okayed when we built the garage.
So besides the garage and the house, what else do you have for sheds?
I have a portable building.
Tarp?
It's a tarp with wood on each end just to keep the wind from blowing it off. But when I got if I got the new shed, I was taking that down.
Okay.
And getting rid of it.
Now, do you have a regular wood shed over here on this end of the house?
On the far end of the house is a portable one, and then there's a little building that he stored his pellets in that he's also taking down when we get the new shed. We wanted them both gone. They were old. They don't look good. We wanted them both gone.
Okay.
And we were just gonna go with the Amish shed to store my gardening stuff in. This year we have 5 tons of the pellets in the garage, and we're getting rid of the old building that's been there forever. And we were getting rid of the portable one.
No other sheds?
Nope.
Okay.
We were getting rid of both of them to get the new one.
So is any of that into the square footage that was applied?
Yeah, so under the description,
Yeah.
yeah, I counted the sheds in there for total. Accessory structure over, yeah.
Both would be subtracted out then,
So that would actually make it go down, yep.
yes.
As long as you make your approval, if you're gonna approve it conditioned on those being removed
Removal of
in X
those.
amount of months, yeah.
Yes.
And that's not a problem. Those 2 are going.
And then
Once I
that
get
would-
once I get the new one, take the stuff out and
So what did you add into the total square footage with those other 2 sheds then? Do you remember?
3 sheds?
I think it's.
Yeah, I think one was like a maybe an 8 by 12.
The other one here is 195 square feet. It's the only
That's
one.
probably the portable one. What is mine?
And then is there an issue by putting it in the front yard?
Well, it should be
It's
part
out,
of
it's out of the
the,
setback, it's technically in the front
part of
yard,
the
but it's past the setback.
All that's gonna be left is the big shed. We know the size of the big shed, right? The big
Basic.
garage.
Yes,
So, you know that plus whatever she's gonna put in, that's, you don't need to know the size of what's coming out if you know what's gonna remain plus what's going in, I suppose, right?
Existing shed, you put down 195 square feet, and whoever wrote this, was it?
yeah, I took it off of the real property record, because they had the size on there. And I added them up.
So basically, we're taking 200 square feet off of it. So it's actually 1350 is the existing variance then. And you're adding 160 to that.
looking at the
I'm looking at the next one. that's this one.
And then you subtract the size of the house, which is 920, and you get 590 square feet over.
Which is definitely reduced down considerably.
Well, from
That's
75.
Yes.
150% over the allowed square footage.
So could you go over that again, but?
Well,
Is-
two
so-
sheds would be removed,
Yeah,
and
No,
they
I get all
total
that, I'm
almost
just-
200 square feet.
so how much would she
Okay.
go over?
Should be over 590
So,
square feet over.
percentage wise, it's like
150%.
60%.
so what we did is we didn't count the tarp shed because it's a tarp.
Okay.
We counted the other shed at the hose of pellets. That's your 195 square feet.
Right,
All
so
right.
it doesn't change.
So when you subtract off the totals, you're gonna subtract off the 195,
Right.
but that's it. She's also gonna get rid of the tarp shed, which we didn't count in the first place.
Right. But it's still,
Oh, you're getting rid of both sheds?
yes,
Yeah.
that would be the.
If I got the new shed, I was getting rid of those. I mean, it would make my property look better. They're old, they've been there forever, and I really want them gone, and I just wanted a new shed to,
But there were no variances for those additional buildings originally, right? Just the garage.
Right, the only variance was for the garage. I mean, we didn't know anything about the little shed behind the house because you can't see it from the road. The tarp, we wouldn't have done anything about that one either because it was a tarp shed, so we don't even regulate those. Once the snow tears them apart, people usually get rid of them. So, now, if the tarp would have got all tore apart and she would have put a metal roof on it, now it's a shed, now she'd get dinged for that, but that's not the case.
Okay, so that's where we're at. Basically 590 square feet over, almost 600 square feet over. Anybody like to have any comments on that?
How much is the, how many square feet is the main building?
920. And I don't know, is there a deck of some nature on there, or is it all? No, okay. Because that's the other thing, you put a deck on the house, then that it actually adds to your square footage that you would be allowed.
whatever's on it has been on it since it moved there in 1997. Nothing has changed. I mean, obviously, like some of the pressure treated boards
Yeah.
rotted and he replaced them, but we haven't added anything.
Any comments, Mary Ann?
I think it's excessive. I mean, the garage in itself, right, is 1350 and the house is 920.
Yep.
And I think,
400.
I mean, we just finished building a 30 by 30, which is 900 square feet, and that garage is immense, and it's not even close to, like, they're upstairs and everything. It's, you know, we have a lot of stuff too, snow blowers and four-wheeler, and the thing is just immense.
It is excessive. I have to agree.
The one thing, keep in mind, right, is when you compare the house to the garage,
Mhm.
it's really not your guys' business. Previous board already approved that.
Right,
The only thing you're really looking at is she wants to add another shed to increase that.
right.
So is that 160, square feet intrusive enough to deny it? Okay? What she's saying is she built a shed illegally, it's 195 square feet, she's gonna replace it with 160 square feet. So, but if you look at it and say, well, the garage is just too big, quit looking at the garage. Another board already approved that variance for that garage. That garage isn't going anywhere. So you might think the garage is too big compared to the house. Previous board already approved that. Says,
No, it's not too big to the house, but I mean, as far as storage purposes, there's plenty of storage in a 1350.
You also might look at is that previous board, when they approved the garage, they approved it when it was only 50% allowed. So when talking about percentages over,
Yeah.
it was well over 150% when they approved the garage. So if you're looking at, well, it's 150% now, well, it was 200 and some percent over before.
Mhm.
You're actually bringing the percentage down because the ordinance changed. So I'm just throwing that out there, not trying to sway either way, but just throwing that out there.
But they might have also considered that, saying, oh, well, at least it's not more than that, and now we're just adding on to it, so I still would have a problem with it.
Was there a variance granted for
The
the
garage.
other, no, not the garage,
No,
but the
no.
shed that it's replacing?
No, so basically right now, if you deny this variance for her new shed, I'm gonna send her an OTR and tell her she needs to do something about that other shed, because it's illegal. Okay, she should have never built it without having a permit. But because we're here today, we now know about it. If she never came in, I'd never know about it because I can't see from the road to the backside of her house. But that shed is illegal. She's not allowed to have it. She didn't get a permit. She didn't get a variance for it.
How big is that existing garage? 1,350?
Yeah, didn't it?
My garage is 30 by 40.
That's 1,200 square feet.
Yeah, that's just 1350.
Well, my garage is 30 by 40.
I believe when we looked up the original permit, the 30 by 40 wasn't the exact dimensions that were listed on the permit.
What's that?
I believe when we looked up the original permit
Yeah.
for the garage, 30 by 40 was what was listed on the permit.
It was listed bigger?
Yes.
Well, it's 30 by 40.
Let me go look at this thing again. All right, existing garage was 1,350. That's so when you got your variance for your existing garage, whatever that dimension was at that time is what they granted. So you were granted up to whatever that size was. You may not have built that size, but that's what was granted. Okay. So if it's only a 30 by 40, it's only 1,200 square feet,
That's what it is.
then there's 150 square feet left. Luckily, it's still not 160. I know where you're going. It's not 160, but
I mean, you can go out and measure it. My garage is 30 by 40.
So if you built a 10 by 15 shed, then it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't be here. If she's gotten already a variance to have them. I don't know, does a separate buildings count for the overall variance?
So, yeah, so what it is she was granted a single building of 1,350 square feet. She would still have to come back here and say, hey, I'd like to add this additional one, which is a change to what I was granted, but I'm not gonna go over in square footage. But she still would have to come back, yes.
Unless it was attached to the garage.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was actually attached to the garage and it was an extra 150 square feet, it would have fell underneath the variance.
The previous variance. So there's a couple ways to minimize it. You can attach it to the garage and make it 150 square feet and you wouldn't be here. Or you wouldn't need us anyway, or we wouldn't have to decide.
Or what does the tax map say for the size of the garage? You should be able to look that one up.
Well, yeah, what it is what it is.
I don't have it.
Right?
Yes, I can look it up, but I don't have it.
So you should, before we make a decision, we should check into it. I mean, you can't really make a decision if you don't know for sure the size of the garage, right?
Nope. I don't think any of these, anybody goes out to make sure that it's exactly what the permit applied for. So,
Well, I know Stephen came out and visited me a few times, and then he came out when I got a permit to put my pellet stove in my garage.
I mean, look at your place. You got a variance, you got a permit. We went out and looked at the constructability. We didn't run a tape measure from your proposed property line to the edge of your garage to make sure you fell within that.
No, but I did.
it's the
I went
same.
out and I checked, and I said, that better be within.
Right.
It's the same thing
But
running into
that's-
the on office.
That's
because
us
nobody
believing
went
that,
out
you
to
know, what
measure
you're
where-
proposing is true. So until a surveyor comes out and says, no, you're a foot over, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you were just really too close, we could actually look at it and say, are you sure? So, but no, whatever's printed, we're looking for, after it's approved, we're going out looking for constructability unless it's obvious that something went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's not-
So your choice is to ask for a change to allow you 10 more square feet than what you're allowed. But your shed that you get would have to be connected to this one here, or order your Amish shed at a 10 by 15 and attach it to your garage.
Yeah, like he's gonna want my shed attached to his garage.
Well, I mean, you don't have to cut a hole into the garage, but you have to put it beside the garage and
Just nail
side
it
to
down.
side.
Can't I just get a variance for 10 feet?
So you can ask for that change for a 10-foot
But it's
variance.
still gotta be
But-
to the existing building.
Yeah, so the next question would be is, are you gonna put that up against that garage and make it all one building? Or do you wanna ask them, can I have that extra 60 square feet? You didn't use 150 of it on the garage, it still be detached. That's up to them to decide that. But they just wanna know what you want to ask for.
I don't wanna put my shed against the garage. I'd like my shed to go where I wanted it. Makes it easy for me to do my gardening.
So as a board, you've got a couple of things that you can do. You can turn around and say, you didn't use 150 square feet, and you can grant a variance to have a detached no more than 150 square foot shed placed there. Or you can say, we're gonna grant you the 160 foot detached, or deny the whole thing.
You have to be asked what we need to vote on. By the
Well,
applicant.
somebody has to,
Well, I just need to know what she wants to ask for and.
I would like to ask for either 150 square foot building, not attached, or 160. But if I can get the 150 detached,
So you
I
can't,
will take the
not-
10 by
not-
15.
you
So-
can't ask for an either or, you gotta
Yeah,
ask for
you have
one
to-
specific thing. and I
The
have to
10
agree
by
with you.
15 detached.
Thank you.
okay, so that takes us to another spot where we go through our balancing test and whether the benefit can be achieved by other means feasible to the applicant. It's really not a good location to put that other shed right onto the existing garage, as far as I'm concerned, but if anybody else has a varying opinion, you can state it. Undesirable change in neighborhood character or to nearby properties, it's pretty much out in the woods where it's not gonna be visible. Whether the request is substantial, right now we're looking at 160 square feet that was not basically, or 150 square feet that wasn't used on the original building, and it would basically be 10 square feet added onto that. And whether the request will have adverse physical or environmental effects, and you don't see any of those in that area. So she's asking for a 10 by 15, right?
Yep.
Which would be the exact square footage that was not used on the original.
And it would be detached.
And it'd be detached though.
And under the conditions that all of the
The old
sheds
two
are,
sheds would have to be removed.
Both of them, the tarp and
Yes.
the old.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna make a motion.
Somebody has to make a motion to accept or reject.
I'll make a motion to reject.
Okay,
All right.
so do we have a second on that?
Second,
Okay. We would have to have a show of hands then.
So a show of hands would be in favor of the motion to reject, just so everybody's clear.
No. And opposed would be. And roll call vote on it then.
Henry Hill,
I would vote for it, so, but I'm not voting
so it's
for
a
it.
no.
You're voting
so
no.
no.
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Basil LaForest.
Yes.
Marian Alexander.
Yes.
Melanie Marr.
no.
Okay, ma'am, so they rejected your detached shed. So your only option is a permit to build an attached 150 square foot shed to the existing structure.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Good night, thank you.
Who's the rest of that? Sorry.
And number 2304.
A and B.
Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Pulowski, and I'm representing the Queens tonight.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through this real quick and I'll turn it over to you. All right. Okay, so we actually have two area variances on the same property, two different structures on the property. Okay, so there's a guest house as well as a primary structure. So the Quinns have bought the house on 50 Blue Heron Way. So the first one we're gonna look at is the guest house. The non-conforming side yard setback of 23.9 feet at the guest house cottage, which does not meet the 24.8 side yard setback, which is just under a foot, 0.9 feet into the side yard. Under the primary house, okay, non-conforming side yard setback of 23.3 feet at the main house, which does not meet the 24.8 feet side yard setback. Theirs is 1.5 feet at that side. Okay, and we'll go through. So Blue Heron Way is this parcel here at the end. This is Blue Heron Way. This is Route 9, Bluff Point Golf Course right up here. So we're looking, so the guest house sits right here, the primary house sits over here. It's all zoned R2. So here we go. So the property line comes down this right here, side yard, the corner of the house. This is what they call a cottage, the guest house. This is where that 0.9 square or 0.9 feet it's over. Okay, see the little bump out right here on the main house. So this front part of that little bump out is where that 1.4 square feet or 1.4 foot is. So here's what it looks like when you look down there. It's hidden. This is the property line over here where the hedge is. So right behind this set of trees here is where that cottage is, and variance is needed. The main house, again, property line is over here where the hedge is. Here's that little bump out. It's the corner that comes over that hits it. So on the map that you have, it's not colored like mine, but you should have this little shaded area right here. So that's the 0.9, which is A, and this is the 1.4, which is B. I think I kind of blew them up a little closer, just like that. Okay, sir, anything you'd like to add? Go right ahead.
Just that they were pre-existing conditions.
Public hearing portion of the meeting is now open. Public hearing portion is now closed. Any board members have any questions that they would like to have answered to that?
I mean, the proposed addition is not causing an issue.
Correct.
Right, so you can see on this bottom right one right here,
Mm-hmm.
this right here is the proposed addition, and it is actually within the setbacks.
I thought it was.
Actually,
is
that-
it 50 feet though?
Yeah.
Just the upper right
Yeah, it
corner
looks
is
like
the
it's
addition.
28.
The rest of it is a patio.
Is the right side the lake?
Yes.
No. The bottom of it is the lake, right?
There you go back.
Going down to the bottom right.
See, the lake is down here, right here.
There you go. There's the lake. There's
Okay,
a
so
proposed
that-
addition, and there's a
So
patio.
this is just a.
No, yeah, that's Kennedy's property over there.
It's
Right?
just brush there, I guess, right?
A
Hedgerow.
hedgerow, yeah.
Gotcha. So we only need 20 feet on this. Minimum time.
Right, but the way they have it set off, they're actually doing like a 24 point something on, so they're actually a little more than the minimum. They have to have
But they're not
50
meeting the
total.
30
Right.
on one side. Okay, but that's already been approved.
Right, seeing this is pre-existing non-conforming, I'm not gonna go through a balancing test on it. So the basic thing would be to approve the 0.9 and the 1.4.
Just take separate votes.
Two separate votes. So for first one, put the 0.9 is A,
Yes.
all right? Got a motion on that one from
Make
somebody?
a motion.
And a second?
Second.
Second, and a show of hands. And the roll call vote on A for 0.9.
Henry Hill.
Yes.
Roger Black.
Yes.
Basil LaFors.
Yes.
Mary Ann Alexander.
Yes.
Melanie Marr.
Yes.
All right, and for B, 1.4,
1.5, sorry.
1.5, and the other B item.
Right, I'll make a motion to accept the 1.5.
And a second, show of hands, And roll call vote?
Henry Hale,
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Fossil LaFors.
Yes.
Marion Alexander.
Yes.
Melanie Marr.
Yes.
And you would be approved.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Motion to adjourn.
Who's going to second it?
Everybody. Yeah.
You can have.